done, Mayor. So.
Okay. Mr. City Manager, we're finally seated. Ready?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. I'd like to introduce Director Tim Nevergall to present the proposed 2023 street maintenance program.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Every year that I've been with the city, I've made this presentation, and I always think back to former council member Carol Rudy. She was always excited to be the list, to see the list of streets, but there's only so many times you can hear about street maintenance. So I'll try not to bore you with the details, but I'm going to go give a little bit of background and then of course provide the list of streets. So as you probably know, Public Works rates our streets at least every 2 years, so now I qualify that. And we use a software package called MicroPaver. And we take basically the condition of the street, we enter it into the software package, and it gives us a pavement condition index. And that pavement condition index is from 0 to 100, 0 being the worst street, 100 being a perfect street. And we do that for each street section within the entire city. From that, we use that information to develop our street rating, or our street maintenance program. And the ratings are used highly in that, but we also look at things like making sure that we've got a program that touches all corners of the city. The way it works too is if you have a cul-de-sac compared to maybe a through street, the through street may get a little bit higher weight just because it gets more traffic and provides a larger benefit. But the goal is to start with that rating system and use that to develop the program. So the City of Gladstone primarily uses 3 maintenance techniques: intermediate maintenance, mill and overlay, and full depth replacement. Intermediate maintenance is basically a real thin seal coat that goes over the asphalt. It seals the surface. It's typically used on pavements that are in pretty good physical condition. And one of the other benefits of it is it restores skid resistance. So some of our main thoroughfares, like a 72nd Street that's gotten real weathered, or a location that I can think of that we did it in the past was 68th and Broadway, where you've got that steep hill and you want to restore that skid resistance where there might be a situation where we have accidents. We've microsurfaced that in the past, but that's one of the benefits of intermediate maintenance. And then, of course, it extends pavement life and reduces long-term maintenance costs. Next is mill and overlay. You know what that is, removing the top 2 inches of asphalt and basically resurfacing it. It restores the pavement surface, and it's typically used on pavements that are fairly good structurally, that have a good subgrade below them. I'm not going to talk about full depth replacement. What that is, we don't have any plan this year, but what that is you basically remove all the pavement, basically stabilize the subgrade below, and you basically rebuild the street from the ground up. So this next slide is called the pavement deterioration curve, and basically what it shows is that $1 spent early on preventative maintenance saves $5. So if we do intermediate maintenance, it's all about a factor of 5. So $1 spent on intermediate maintenance is equivalent to about $5 spent on mill and overlay, compared to $25 spent on full depth replacement. So you can tell that if we can keep our pavements sound and manage them, we can obviously maintain our street maintenance costs. So looking at our program this year, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to take a look at last year compared to this year. So there's 2 different numbers up there. The city street network makes up about 250 lane miles. In fiscal year 22, the city did 6 miles of microsurface and 16 lane miles of overlay. So that's 22 miles that we did street maintenance work on, so 22 of the 250 lane miles. This year, we're looking at 6 miles of microsurface and another 21 miles of overlay for a total of 27 miles of work. So we're looking at touching 10% of our transportation network. So that is actually an excellent year. Moving to the next slide, you will see the proposed street maintenance program that we've put together. The red is street maintenance work that will be funded through the TST program, or the TST sales tax. Some of the highlights of that are we're going to try to do another section of North Oak Traffic Way from about 61st to 67th, as well as 72nd Street between Woodland and M1. So basically where Evergy has been working for off and on for the past 6 to 9 months. The blue that you see up there are streets that we are looking at replacing the water mains on, and when the work is completed, those streets will be resurfaced. And we've had some really good luck with that the last couple of years. We've been able to kind of line up our street maintenance program with our water main replacement program and make those two programs work together. And then the green is intermediate maintenance, and you'll notice on the intermediate maintenance, we're trying to get some of our higher volume collectors or snow routes. So you'll see Englewood Road between Broadway and Oak. You'll see 76th Street, that's the reconstructed portion that we did about 10 years ago. We will microsurface that and reestablish the bike lanes. And then you'll also see North Indiana between basically Brooktree and 64th Street. So we've got a really good program planned this year. This program can be adjusted a little bit. We can add or remove streets, you know, as you see fit. But in total, you're looking at 27 lane miles of roads. I'm going to go back a slide. Our total anticipated cost for this year's program is $2 million. I'm going to qualify that a little bit. We're proposing to go to the road district and ask them to participate again this year. So they have $350,000 that they get through Clay County. And that number also includes $600,000 in ARPA funds through, I believe those are, I don't remember if those are county or city funds to be used for the street maintenance program. So we're looking at $2 million in investment in our street maintenance program. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Councilman Spallo.
Tim, great presentation, and it's just always really good to see your evaluation and how you spread it out all around the city so that nobody can say we're being left out, obviously. Wanted to see what the chances are of getting this map or the written list of all the streets that you gave to us onto the website, just so people can see that.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, that we can definitely do that. You're the first one to see this. We could get it on the city's website. We're also going to present it to our Capital Improvements Committee on May 3rd when we meet with them too. So the plan is to get the word out once we get a nod of the heads from you that we're headed in the right direction. And one of the things we want to do too is get these projects out to bid. I call this the fiscal year, or I called it the 2022 street maintenance program. As you know, our fiscal year basically cuts the construction season right in the middle. So this is all fiscal year 23 work, so we want to make sure we can hit the ground running after July 1.
Right, and I wouldn't even consider placing it until July 1st on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, when do we find out about the road district funds?
So typically what we've done with that is we'll meet with our Capital Improvements Committee on May 3rd. That's when that scheduled meeting is. And then the last couple of years, instead of waiting till later in the year to meet with the road district, we've set up a second meeting with the special road district, generally within a couple weeks and before the city's budget is finalized, so that way we know those funds are going to be used towards the street maintenance program. What was happening is we get a program and then the road district, and the road district's always been fantastic, would say, yeah, we'd love to participate with your street maintenance program, but we'd be in October, so you're either in a hurry to get things done before, the weather went south, or you're waiting until the following spring. So the last 2 years we've actually met with the road district early. So we'll meet with the road district in May, present this same map to them, ask them if they'd like to participate and kind of see where they go. But they've been a great partner through the years, and we hope to continue that relationship.
Comments? Questions?
Very good.
Tim, I had one question on the micro-surfacing. I notice on 72nd, between Woodland and Troost, we're getting a lot of pock marks on the new surfacing there, but it looks like it's only 1/4 inch deep. Is that one of the things we tried the micro-surfacing on? Or, because it looks like it's starting to come up in pieces.
So I reached out to the contractor, and they're going to look at that for us. What that is, we're using the same microsurface that we've used ever since I've been with the city. we played a little bit with the aggregates. The aggregate we used last year was a little bit darker aggregate, so that way everybody likes a nice black road. That means new to us, so it's actually a darker aggregate. But they're actually going to look at that. What's happening, obviously, is our snow plows. So so some of it falls back on us. I remember a couple years ago we had a situation where the wing plow on one of the trucks actually failed, so it was getting drug and it was just kind of just skipping, and it would just catch and it would take off that little sliver that you're seeing, and it would just chatter along. So they're going to look at it. It's Vance Brothers. They've done our program many years, so I expect that they'll come out and help us patch those spots, and we can move on down the road. But yeah, I noticed those as well. But it's not a new product, like I said. And the thing about these street maintenance techniques is it's trying to find something too that works with the neighborhoods. You'll hear cities about, they'll go to, you don't hear this a lot, but Overland Park uses, they'll oil and chip roads. And they're having meetings now about, are they going to continue to do that? And it might be great for the street, but on that intermediate maintenance, there's a public component to it and what the public will accept, and we've had some pretty good luck with microsurface. It also requires some education, because inevitably if we microsurface a road, I'll get a phone call saying, hey, they didn't do a very good job on this overlay, and I have to explain that it's not an overlay, it's a seal coat. We're just trying to preserve what's there, and most people understand that. They just want to make sure the city's getting our bang for our buck. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because I know we had been experimenting with some of that microsurfacing, and it had gone very well, as I recall, our first efforts with it. So I was surprised when I saw that on 72nd. But I wasn't sure if it was snowplow related or something since then.
Snowplow.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's it for that.
Mayor, members of the council, there are two items on your regular agenda tonight having to do with the police headquarters project. The first is a building permit, which would provide the city's regulatory approval of the project, and second, a contract with Turner Construction to actually build the facility, develop the facility. So with those two major items on your agenda tonight, I thought it might be nice for you, as well as the public, to have a chance to see the finished product, or the planned finished project. So with that, Nick Lawler's here from Hafer Welker, who's going to make the presentation. And if you have any questions, Jason Brown is here from Turner Construction if you have any questions about that. So with that, Nick.
Good evening. Thanks for having us tonight. We'll just start out with kind of a site plan here. So this is the project that you're seeing. You've got existing City Hall there on the north side, and then you've got the new police station on the south, with homes there on the right. So the new police entrance will be right next to the City Hall entrance. So you'll have kind of a front entrance plaza there that's been created with some nice landscaping and some flag poles and seating opportunities there on the east side, kind of celebrating that whole streetscape along Holmes. And you'll have obviously an opportunity to go straight into City Hall or take a left and go into the police station. And then on the south side there you see Sallyport entrance, and then coming around the corner there, the police department will have a dedicated police entry, so the police staff will be able to come on the west side there and have kind of a secure entrance for themselves, redirect the public to the home side. And then that gray area there is a covered vehicle canopy, so the patrol cars will be under protection, within the elements of the winter time, which obviously helps with response times and whatnot, when they not have to scrape off ice off their vehicles and keep them nice and dry. A little bit of landscaping that you're seeing there that's being added in, and then also adding some new parking stalls on the north, just to make sure we maintain our parking counts here at City Hall and with this new police station with some of the parking that's been lost in the south. So trying to keep that as a net zero in terms of the parking counts, and provide enough staff for parking for staff and for the PD. Here's the lower level floor plan. So you're seeing the new police station there on the south side on the bottom of the page, and then the existing police station on the north, kind of the lower level of City Hall. The blue areas are the patrol areas, kind of the support functions for the patrol. Orange, you're seeing there in the kind of the northwest corner of that new addition is the break room and the exercise space. Right below that will be report writing, and then you've got kind of the patrol offices and a roll call room. The orange space in the middle is men and women's locker rooms, And then as you travel east, we have the Sally Port and the booking holding area. Directly north of that in the existing building, the medium shade of blue there is kind of the EOC and can also be a training area, large training room. The purple is the expanded dispatch for the potential for your co-location regional dispatch there for other agencies potentially, with an expanded support space for them with their kitchen and locker areas and restrooms. And then the lighter blue is the property processing and property evidence storage. So that grows that space. You know, right now they're in that kind of, they're in that light blue kind of node there or space to the east, and that obviously grows. Plenty of room for expansion there and adequate space for evidence processing and pass-through lockers and all that kind of stuff. So to really make sure that we're respecting the chain of custody and being efficient with our evidence processing and storage. So we move upstairs, you can see City Hall there and council chambers to the north, kind of light gray. And then on the south side is the new station, a little bit smaller footprint than the lower level. So you see the new entrance there for the public on the east side, the light blue records department, and then you transition into the investigations department and eventually into the admin department with the chief's office and some additional administrative spaces there with the conference room. You know, with this floor plan and this floor plate being a little bit smaller, we made some smart decisions during design, working with the city and the PD. So we just have some single-use restrooms there in the orange, rather than building large bathrooms for the folks that we have on this upper level. It just made sense to kind of keep that footprint small. And also, we only have one large conference room, so kind of a shared conference room. I think the chief and others felt it was important that that conference room be open to all departments. So it's obviously the main conference room for the chief and for admin, but also right off that hallway, we're able to share it with other departments. So that worked out pretty well. That lobby will be secure, so there'll be bullet-resistant panels and glass protecting those that work in records and preventing people from just wandering into the police station. That corridor is also a nice opportunity, and you'll see that here in the renderings. A lot of natural daylight will come into that corridor and shine down into that space. Really created a nice place for those folks to work. And then a lot of great daylight from the south as well into those different departments. And then there is a connection. You can see that little hallway there just to the left of those orange spaces directly into City Hall. So, the police folks and city folks can go back and forth through a secure door there to be able to continue that, collaboration they've had for the last several decades. These are the 2D building elevations. So you're seeing it's a mixture of brick and cast stone, metal panels, and a couple colors of ephes. And you can see those on the board. Here's the actual physical samples. So we've got here's our brick, simple red brick. We've got a cast stone base, which is this product here. We've got cream colored ephes, which is a lot of this material here, as well as up here on the second floor. And then we've got lighter metal panel, which is all these corner elements. This will also be the front of City Hall and the front of the police department. And then a darker metal panel that's kind of these top pieces. And then we have a darker ephes that's also at the top. And then this is a very, very top ephes part up here as well. So this is kind of the composition of materials for the project. Pretty standard glass, high performing though. It's clear glass. Definitely will help with solar heat gain. And that's for the most of the materials. Not a lot of painted finishes. It's pretty much what you're seeing here. So it's definitely all very durable, long-lasting, good product. For City Hall itself, you're seeing there the new entrance along Holmes with the metal panel. The goal is to kind of celebrate those fins that we have there that you see through these windows. We have some awesome lighting that you'll see in the rendering here in a little bit. At night to light those up, kind of celebrate those, but didn't want to try to match that, but we also didn't want to spend a bunch of money trying to rip out these concrete fins, so definitely try to tie the new architecture in with the old and not spend too much money on City Hall. On the bottom elevation, you're kind of seeing the backside of City Hall there, which again, we're not doing a whole lot with on the west side, but then you transition into that police entrance and the new police facility on the south. So there's a rendering from the intersection over here at the southeast corner. So the new police station and with that very nice you can tell that there's two functions here. There's the police department and the city hall. We wanted to make sure it's one Gladstone building, but two identities in terms of visitors and whatnot, knowing where they needed to go. View from the southwest. So the streetscape there, again, allowing for that sidewalk to occur, the lighting to remain, trees to remain, but have that police entrance back there kind of tucked around the corner. And then there's that night rendering. So that's the project.
Any comments, questions?
I can't tell you how amazing this is. When Shaping Our Future came together and decided to, work on these types of projects, I don't think we ever envisioned this. And I'm just blown away. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Other comments, questions?
Looks real good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Concludes our study sessions for the night, Mayor.
Great. We have, did you want to tell us anything about the joys of building this for us as quickly as it can be, since we're now all excited about it?
I think it looks great, and we're going to get to work on it right away. We do plan on starting the construction mid to late June. Should take about 14 months, 13, 14 months. So we're hoping to have the keys turned over, kind of turn everything over end of August of 23. Do my math right? So we're ready to get started. We've been working with the team and for the last year or so trying to get this thing off the ground. So now's the fun part. Hopefully we can build it right.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Good luck. Everyone's watching.
Maybe you feel so much better about it.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, anything else?
That's all we had for tonight, Mayor.
Take a quick break and have our regular meeting at 7:30. Thank you. sec. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 25th, 2022 regular meeting of the Gladstone City Council and call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, all the members of the City Council are present and we have a quorum. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Mr. Mayor, the colors are present. Post colors. Present arms.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. As always, want to recognize the color guard from VFW Post 10906, Jim Zimmerman, Carla Gleaton, Stanley Stoner, Dennis Perkins, and Gordon Harris. Thank you for this evening. Item 4 is approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Does anyone have any problems with tonight's agenda? Seeing none. We'll move on to item 5, approval of the minutes from the April 11th, 2022 regular City Council meeting.
Mayor,
Councilman Mallows.
I move to approve the minutes from the April 11th, 2022 regular City Council meeting.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor of approving the April 11th, 2022 regular City Council meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are hereby approved. Now for the exciting part, we have a couple of proclamations this evening. Sue, if you'd like to join me up front.
Printed things out. Sure.
You are.
The highlight of the evening is this one, the proclamation. Older Americans Month, whereas Gladstone, Missouri is a community that includes 7,142 citizens aged 60 and older, and whereas the older adults in Gladstone, Missouri are among our most treasured resources, united by historical experiences, strengthened by diversity, and interpreting events from varied perspectives and backgrounds to bring wisdom and insight to our community. Whereas increasing numbers of adults are reaching retirement age and remaining strong and active for longer than ever before, and whereas the older adults in Gladstone, Missouri deserve recognition for the contributions they have made and will continue to make to the culture, economy, and character of our community and our nation, and whereas our community can provide that recognition and respect by improving the quality of life for older Americans by increasing their opportunities to remain active and engaged in community life, providing individualized services and support systems to maintain the dignity, independence, and self-determination of older Americans as they age, combating ageist attitudes by honoring their past, present, and future contributions. Now, therefore, I, Bill Garnes, Mayor of the City of Gladstone, Missouri, on behalf of the members of the Gladstone City Council and all Gladstone residents, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Older Americans Month. And we urge every citizen to take time this month to honor our older adults and the professionals, family members, and volunteers who care for many of them. Our recognition and involvement of older Americans can enrich our entire community's quality of life. Signed this 25th day of April, 2022.
Thank you.
Please, give me.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, on behalf of Clay County Senior Services. We appreciate the partnership that we have with the city of Gladstone, and we applaud your success in making Gladstone truly a community for all ages.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Alan, is this one yours? Monthly Alan Napoli Proclamation. Whereas the city of Gladstone is committed to recognizing our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play, both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. Whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a nonprofit that brings together local, state, and federal officials that are experts in the built environment, to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, and play. Whereas these modern building codes include safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes. Whereas the Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us of safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas Safety for All, Building Codes in Action, the theme for Building Safety Month 2022, encourages us all to raise awareness about planning for safe and sustainable construction, career opportunities in building safety, understanding disaster mitigation, energy conservation, and creating a safe and abundant water supply to all of our benefit. Whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Now therefore, I, Bill Garnis, Mayor of the City of Gladstone, Missouri, on behalf of the members of the Gladstone City Council and all Gladstone residents, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Building Safety Month. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Alan. Be sure you express our thanks to the other code officials for their hard work in keeping our city safe. We'll move on to item 8, communications from the audience. Is there any member of the audience that would like to address the City Council on a matter that is not on this evening's agenda? None. We'll move to communications from City Council. Councilmember Spallo.
Thank you, Mayor Garnis. So I just want to extend a congratulations to our Public Works Department for the electronics collection this past weekend. I understand that we served about 84 cars, but 15,000 pounds of expired electronics, however you want to term it, were taken away at no cost to us. And from what I hear, Tech Remove, who conducted that collection, were very cordial, did a great job, and hopefully we will continue doing this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Frisbee.
Thank you, Mayor. One quick, I think the kids call it a shout out to the Parks Department and Director Murky. If you remember the southeast corner of Central Park there's a monument sign, and the railroad ties had outlived their usefulness, and they jumped into the service, removed all the old ties, and put a nice stone monument planter there. It looks very nice. And we're going to take the sign down tonight, take it to Director Murky's house, and he's going to hand paint the seal back on. And no, it will look really nice. He gets the seal painted, so thank you. It looks very nice. That's all, Mayor.
Councilman Mallett.
I have a shout out. Gosh, I've known you for 10 years, and listening to tonight, that's the biggest compliment that you've ever given me. Older residents are treasured resources. Thank you, Mayor. Director Murky, found out today my silver sneakers, my membership to the gym, is going to be coming up in 14 days. Be back over there. Be kind to us older folks. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I guess it's an evening of shout-outs because I wanted to give a shout-out to Public Works and Animal Control. It seems like we've had a spate of dead deer in my part of the world, and I called Animal Control. Their vehicle wasn't big enough, so it seems like Public Works is responsible for removing deer, but we've had 2 at least lately, and they've been removed very effectively and much appreciated, so thank you.
Thank you. Since the last meeting, I had the privilege of attending GEBC meeting, Gladstone Economic Betterment Council, and also the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting last week, where we got an update on the improvements that we can see occurring across the street at the outdoor pool. Very exciting. I also had the privilege of getting rid of some old TVs and computer monitors this weekend and appreciated having that opportunity. We'll move on to item 10, communications from the city manager. Mr. Wingerson, I know we have some important events coming up over the next couple of weeks that are very popular for everybody in town except city staff that have to work them.
Thank you, Mayor. That's accurate, but we love working and serving the public, so that's all good. This Saturday is Walk and Wag. This Friday and Saturday and Sunday is Beautification, and May 6th through 8th is Brush Drop-Off. So busy weekend in the parks world. All of those can be found on our website for additional information. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 11, the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, would you please explain and read the consent agenda?
A consent agenda allows the City Council to consider and approve routine items of business without discussion. Any member of the City Council, the city staff, or public may request removal of any item from the consent agenda and request that it be considered under the regular agenda if discussion or debate of the item is desired. Items not removed from the consent agenda will stand approved upon motion by any council member, second and unanimous vote to approve the consent agenda as published or modified. Consent agenda. Resolution R-22-13, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with McConnell and Associates Corporation in the total amount not to exceed $52,598 for the Happy Rock Park Tennis Court Resurfacing Project, CP 2260. Resolution R-22-14, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Eaton Corporation for the purchase of an uninterruptible power supply UPS battery backup system for the Emergency Services Dispatch Center in the amount of $38,531.29. Resolution R-22-15, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with BizCom Incorporated for the purchase of a multi-channel recording system for the Emergency Services Dispatch Center in the amount of $38,405.72. Resolution R-22-16, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Waste Management of Missouri Incorporated for public facility waste hauling and the spring beautification event. Consider special event permits. Afternoon tea on the front yard of the Atkins Johnson Farm and Museum, Saturday, May 7th, 2022, from 12 o'clock p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Gladstone Classic Car Concourse and Historical Vehicle Exhibition, Free Car Show, Atkins Johnson Farm and Museum, Sunday, June 12th, 2022, with rain date Saturday, June 18th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Gladstone Spring Beautification at Happy Rock Park West, Friday, April 29th through Sunday, May 1st, 2022, from 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. daily. Gladstone Spring Brush Drop-Off, Public Works facility on Friday, May 6th through Sunday, May 8th, 2022, 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. daily. Consider financial report for month-end March 2022.
Thank you very much. Does any member of the audience request the removal of any item from the consent agenda for discussion? City Council? Mr. City Manager?
No, sir.
Is there a motion?
Mayor Garnes,
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as listed. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as listed, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent agenda is approved. We'll move on to the regular agenda. Item 12, consideration of a building permit for the police headquarters at 7010 North Holmes. Is there a motion?
Mayor Garnes,
Councilmember Spallo.
I move to approve the building permit for police headquarters, 7010 North Holmes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the building permit. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the building permit for the police headquarters signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Building permit is hereby approved. Item 13 is consideration of a building permit for Pure Water of Kansas City, 7000 North Oak Traffic Way.
Mayor Garnes,
Councilman Mallons.
I move to approve the building permit for Pure Water of Kansas City at 7000 North Oak Traffic Way.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the building permit. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the building permit for Pure Water of Kansas City signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Building permit is hereby approved. Item 14, Contractor Award Resolution R-22-17, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute professional services contracts in the amount of $14,125,000 for construction of a new police headquarters and exterior improvements to City Hall.
Mayor Garnes,
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move to approve Resolution R-22-17.
Second?
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution R-22-17. Is there any discussion? I wanted to offer a few thank yous. I wanted to thank our friends at Hafer Welker Architects for their exceptional leadership and creativity, flexibility, and patience with us throughout the planning and design process. I want to thank our construction managers at Turner Construction in advance for delivering this facility to us in a timely and cost-effective manner. I wanted to thank our police department personnel who provided their time and insights into the planning process. Caleb Breedlove, Sabrina Skortis, Josh East, Eli Dorsey, and Kim Romine. And a special thanks to the city's leadership team for getting us to this point. Scott and Bob, Chief Ferris, Dominic, Justin, and Tim, thank you for your work. And finally, I just wanted to say thank you to the people of Gladstone for their strong support of our police officers, making sure that our officers have all the resources they need and a base of operations that we can all be proud of. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting Resolution R-22-17 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is hereby adopted. Is there any other business for the City Council this evening? Hearing none, we are adjourned.